What's up, guys? Happy Friday. This is Carlos D and Carlos M. We're here in the
What's going
business
on? What's
trap.
going on?
So, Carlos, what are we going to talk about today? What
Oh.
trap are we bringing up today?
We're going to talk about the most interesting trap of all, and that is the money trap. That people saying, I don't have money, I can't do this because there's no money. So we're going to debunk all those myths. We're going to help you, hopefully, how to get out of some of those traps and show you where the money is and what can you do to go get it.
So, money trap. I think the money trap starts with mindset. So, can you guys comment below any money trap mindset myths that you heard? So, can you shout out some of those? It comes to my head. Money's the root of all evil.
Rich people are bad.
Yes, rich
They
people.
have too much money.
Rich people are bad to society.
Yes.
They're taking all the money.
Right.
When in fact it's quite the opposite. Those rich people are doing more service to society than a lot of other people, which is why they have the money.
Yeah.
So what else? What other myths out there do you want to debunk?
We're going to talk about, some people that don't see a way to do any specific project because they just don't have money.
All right. Awesome. So let's start with the beginning. So money trap. What are the money traps that most people fall into? Let's start with the first one, the scarcity mindset.
Yes, that there's not enough money, that there's only a limited amount. And yeah, there might be a limited amount, but a very huge limited amount. So, there's so much money out there, guys. It's really hard to get our minds around it. It's like looking up at the stars and saying how big the universe is. That's kind of, if you think about in the scale of money, that's how much money is out there.
Okay.
There's a lot.
So for these people that don't believe you, they're set hardcore on there's not enough money out there. If there would be enough, more people will be wealthy. So what facts can you tell them about money and to debunk the scarcity mindset?
Well, that basically when talking about money, it's everywhere, right? And you never know if your neighbor, your family, the bank, all the money is just distributed accordingly. There's not really a place where you see society at how much it costs to make a building, how much it costs to pave highways and all that stuff. It's millions and billions of money just being poured out there. And some people are smart enough and they have the capacity to be able to take some of the money and for themselves. So the idea is, and the name of the game is, how much money can I keep, right? How much money can I use to follow my agenda, right? And in a way, we're going to talk about all these things. And in this program, we always talk about how to become successful, how to get out of traps. And in a way, all these traps are related to money in one way or the other.
And I want to add something when it comes to scarcity is that money is created every single day. Every single day, there's money being created. And a quick example of this, if you want to start a business, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say you want to start a restaurant franchise.
Right.
And you need $100,000 to start that business. You have $50,000 cash that you saved, that is your money. But you still need 50 more. What are you going to do to get that 50 more? Well, you could go to the bank and with a signature, money is created. Or you could just swipe your credit card and money is created.
It's created, yeah.
So money scarcity mindset is right there. You really know that there's no scarcity in money. Money can be created just by a single signature.
All right, yeah, but you might be thinking right now, yeah, you're saying that because maybe you have a couple $1,000s in the bank and I don't have anything, where can I get the money if I don't have anything? And the most common place that people go to get money, what is it,
J-O-B?
A job, yes, a job. So, but some people just work and pay bills. The idea is to get good at what you do and become, your worth is a lot more to the marketplace so that you could get more money. And hopefully your money that's coming in is a little bit more than what you're spending, than what you need to survive. So then you can start accumulating money, and the next step is using that money, the excess money, to invest it in a more money generating vehicle so that you can make even more money with excess.
So increase your self-worth by increasing the value that you're delivering.
The value, right. And one of the best ways to do that, and we do it here in our company, is to learn leadership skills, right? And I mean, if you are, let's say, I don't know, a mechanic, and all of a sudden you become a master mechanic. There's up to so much money that you can make being a mechanic, right? But now, if you are able to manage other mechanics, then you are worth a lot more to the company that you're working for than just being a simple mechanic. So that's why leadership is one of the most important ways to get up there and start earning more money and be worth more in the marketplace.
Awesome. So what are some other wealth building activities that people can do?
Networking. You will be, it's incredible the amount of money that you could secure, that you could get just by simply networking. And when I mean networking, I say just meeting other individuals that might have similar interests than you, that might be at a different level, and now they know that you exist, and now they know the value that you could add. So they might be willing to work out a deal with you where they might give you loans, they might do a business venture together with you, and now you could leverage that relationship that you build, that's what you do when you network, you build relationship. You can leverage that relationship to increase your money.
All right, this is getting really interesting. We're talking about creating your network so that you can build wealth and getting rid of the money scarcity mindset that we were brought up with. All right, so what else can you tell us about the money trap?
Yeah, basically where's the money, right? Let's talk about that because, let's talk a little bit about if you right now have really needed $50,000 and you had no idea where to get it. Let's say that you had $1,000 that is for your fixed cost. Where can you go and get that? And it's funny because a lot of people just say, oh, there's absolutely no way. I don't qualify for a loan. I go to the bank and they don't qualify for a loan. And guys, by the way, if you go to a bank and to try to get a loan, it is extremely hard to get a loan because the banks want secure loans unless you just get a credit card. That would be the easiest way to do it, right? And they cap you at a limit. But there are other creative ways that people don't even know, don't even think about. So let's talk about what if you had no assets, first of all, and then what if you had some assets? If you have no assets, the best way to get money is friends and family, hands down. The reason I say that is because let's say that you need something. You need a vehicle in order to get a better job, in order to increase the amount of money that you get. You're going to go to a family or a friend and be like, hey, look, I need $10,000 to buy this vehicle. The bank won't give me a loan. How can you help me out? And if that person believes in you enough, meaning if you have built a good relationship with them, then that person will be willing to give you the money. And same thing if you're trying to do any other venture. If you're able to convince your family and friends that what you're trying to do is worthwhile, they will front the money. They will give you the money. So, that's another trap that friends and family are not going to lend. Friends and family will lend as long as you have good credit with them. Right?
Basically, you build confidence.
Yes, that you've shown that you are a responsible person, that you have a hardworking person. If you are a really hardworking person, there's no reason why friends and family wouldn't lend you money.
Assuming they have it.
Assuming they have it, correct.
So what's another way, assuming you don't have friends and family or they don't have money?
So let's say a credit card, right? Again, we spoke about credit card. That's one of the easiest way and one of the best ways to be able to have access to capital is through a credit card.
But some people say credit cards are bad.
Well, it depends what you use them for. If you go buy Gucci shoes and non-income producing activities, then it's horrible. Don't get credit cards. But if you're going to get a credit card, for example, to start a business that is going to generate income, then it's a hands down great way to get capital. But I want to talk to you guys also about, because some of the people that are watching the show might have some assets. And if you have assets, you are way ahead of the game. An asset is basically something that is worth something, right?
What are some examples of assets?
Some examples of assets are, I'll just give you one, the most commonly known one, which is a house. If you have a house, by the way, if you had a house and if you had a mortgage for the last 2 years, your house is probably worth $100,000 to $150,000 more than what it was worth 2 years ago, just FYI. And some people don't know this. And when somebody gets a house, the first thing they want to do is pay it off. They say, 30 years, I could pay this off in 15, which in my opinion is a mistake. The reason is because now it's like having, for those people, for example, that has had a house for the last 2 years, and they have all that money just sitting there, an asset. Basically, if they owe the bank $300,000 and the house is now worth $500,000, that means they have $200,000 just sitting there. That's the equivalent of having a safe with $200,000 in your house, and you're not touching it.
All right. So how does someone assess that money?
You go to the bank, you tell them you have this nice house, you tell them why you want to get the cash out, and the bank will analyze if it's a good idea or if it's not. If the bank will say no, that usually means that either one, you're not ready yet, or two, is a bad business idea. So the bank is actually trying to protect you from doing a bad decision.
By protecting themselves.
By protecting themselves, yes. So, we are into franchising. I guarantee you that if you have a house and you have $200,000 in asset and you go to a bank to open our franchise, they will give you that loan because it's a great investment opportunity.
And if that bank doesn't give it to you, can you go to other banks? I heard of maybe credit unions or other smaller banks.
Yes, well, the best way to go about this is going to a broker who specializes in what you're trying to do. If you're trying to start a construction company and you're trying to leverage your asset, then you want to go to a company, to a broker that's used to doing this type of deals, getting you capital to start a new construction business, for example.
Awesome. This is all so much valuable news because a lot of people out there don't know that they could access the money, the equity that they have in the house.
Yes.
And I just want to add another asset that you could have is a house that is paid, or like you said, you have some equity in it, a vehicle that you paid for it, and you have value in the vehicle. You could use that as equity as well.
Yes, you could tap into that. And something else that I wanted to discuss about having a property and having asset is that, listen, everyone that has a house needs to know that the houses are always going up, right? It's very, very, unless we're in a recession, which, by the way, if you have a house and you're thinking about tapping into capital, you should do it as soon as possible before we go into a recession when the house value drops a little bit, but it will never drop to zero, right? The house value is always kind of moving up slowly, and that's what makes it so secure. So even though right now you might have a $200,000 equity in the house, maybe next year you have $250,000 equity in the house. So just because you take the money out now doesn't mean that, oh, that's it, there's no more equity. It's going to continue to go up.
Awesome. So is there anything else you want to add to everybody out there listening that is interested in getting their money mindset correct?
Yes. How about if you go to a bank, if you go to friends and family, if you go to even apply for a credit card and they say no, it doesn't mean that that's the end. And that's a huge trap that a lot of us fall into. A no is just a you're not ready yet. Remember that. If somebody says no to you, it just means what you're pitching them is not good enough yet.
Like you haven't convinced them.
You haven't convinced them. So go back to the drawing board, make your plan again, see how long it's going to take you to give them a more compelling argument. And I guarantee you that if you touch a certain nerve, or if you are able to explain your case, it'll be a solid yes.
Well, that is...
and a bank told me this, by the way.
That is something that is true in a lot of aspects of our life. If you're applying for a leadership position and they say no, probably that you're not ready yet. Right. It doesn't mean that you can never have that position. So today we debunk the money trap. So a lot of people grew up with a mindset that money is in scarcity, that there's no money out there, that it's hard for them to move up or get assets or find money to invest. So we definitely, put that one to the test.
Yes, and also listen, what you've learned today, don't stay with that knowledge. For example, if you are trying to get some money from a friend and to start a great business, like a tropical juice bar franchise, and they don't have the capital, the cash, because everybody, when people think about money, the first thing that comes to their mind is cash, right? But they own a property. Now you know that there's equity in that property, something that they might not even know, and that they could tap into that. And if they're able to get the equity in that property, let's say at a 3-4% interest a year, and you're promising them that you're going to give them 10% interest for that money, they're going to make a 7% interest on money that otherwise would just be sitting there and not doing anything. So now you have the knowledge to be able to provide to people in order for them to make some money, in order for you to go ahead and be able to secure some funding for that venture that you want.
Thank you for listening in and tuning in today, guys. This is the Business Trap with Carlos and Carlos, co-founder of Tropical Juice Bar. If you guys have any questions, please comment below. We'll be happy to answer any questions. any future episodes that you guys want us to do, or anyone that you want us to bring in as a guest, you can also comment that, subscribe, and like this video.
The business trap. Let's make it happen.